First of all, congratulations, Tony. Yes. I've been able to stand myself for 15 years. I don't know how you've been able to stand a job for that long. So I'm probably the youngest. I've been here probably the shortest tenure of anybody that may speak today. But I've been here probably a little less than 4.5 years. And those 4.5 years, I've dealt with this guy 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And I can tell you every day he's trying to make things better. So never forget that. I know that things can get a little scattered from time to time, but you've always trusted us. Continue to do that because he is trying to make it better. Over the 4.5 years, we'll just say that. I'll exaggerate a little bit. Over those 4.5 years, there are 3 things that I have learned. First of all, they say when a man gets married, he gets smarter. And Tony, you proved that. You listened to your lovely wife, Alex. I gotta tell you, your sense of style has improved immensely since you've been here. So God bless you, Alex. Well done. Secondly, the other thing I've learned, he, like me, has a very unhealthy love, and that unhealthy love is for the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Vikings. And I can only say that because I too am afflicted with a painful, unhealthy love of the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Cubs. So, I understand your pain, my friend, and we'll try to support each other through hard times. Third of all, I have learned this. I have learned a very important lesson. If I get in a vehicle after Tony, I don't crawl in, I fall in, because this man has mutant-length torso and extremely long legs. So I'm not even sure what car I'm in when I get in right after him, because I literally fall in. So, you know, I'm an old guy, but I can still learn if I pay attention. So that's something that, seriously now. In those 5 years, I've gotten to know Tony pretty well. A man of very few words, but when he does say something, it's time to listen, because it usually means something. You see him around dealing with a resident, such as yourselves, you will see this compassion that defies his age. I mean, I taught for many years and taught a lot of people his age, and there was no compassion. There was no soul in a lot of these kids. So we're lucky to have Tony, and probably thanks to Steve and April as well for creating the kind of young man that Tony became. Man of tender heart, man of compassion. Those are all the things that I look for in a friend. It's especially a treat to be able to deal with those traits of somebody that you work with so hard and for so many hours. So thanks, Tony. I look forward to a few more. Take care.
So today we celebrate Tony and recognize his 15-year work anniversary at Oak Knoll. In 2007, Tony started working at Oak Knoll as a part-time receptionist. I hired him about a week after his high school graduation from West High. Technically, though, Tony's been working at Oak Knoll longer than that. Before he sat at the front desk on evenings and weekends, he walked the halls of Oak Knoll delivering newspapers for 4 years. So Tony, technically you've been at Oak Knoll closing in on 20 years. Back to 2007, Tony worked as a receptionist at the only front desk we had at the time, the George Main lobby. He became familiar with resident routines, and he quietly helped them when and where he could. In 2011, Tony became a full-time driver for Oak Knoll, and David Anson was his supervisor. Tony drove the Oak Knoll bus or car all over town, taking you wherever you needed to go. It was a slightly different system more than 10 years ago, and Tony needed to work closely with the receptionist to schedule time for departures and pickups. Heather Don Carlos, our full-time receptionist, worked with Tony, and they struck up a really good friendship, one that continues to this day. They have a lot of inside jokes, but none that I could ever get them to share with me. Heather's covering the desk right now, but she did have 3 things she wanted to share about Tony. She says, over the years, I've watched Tony treat the residents like gold. He's always willing to help residents beyond the scope of transportation. And for a quiet guy, he's got a really good sense of humor. In 2015, David passed the transportation baton completely to Tony. And in 2019, the transportation department expanded. Tony now coordinates and dispatches drivers all over town. He oversees and plans any special trips requiring the Oaknall bus, such as Hampshire and basketball games. And if you can't find him at his desk, it's because he's delivering food supplies and laundry to Oaknall East, or helping out the drivers whenever and wherever necessary. There's 1 week in March that Tony always takes for vacation. You might think he goes someplace warm for spring break or a week-long getaway to somewhere exotic. Nope, he goes to Des Moines for the boys' state basketball tournament. Tony is also a sports writer and a lead scout for Prep Hoops Iowa. During the basketball season, you will find Tony in a high school gym watching a basketball game nearly every night. He takes pride in seeing as many different teams as he possibly can each year. And last December, a large group of Oaknall staff and some residents celebrated Tony's marriage to Alex. Now that was a party. I can testify. And what a happy coincidence that you got to know each other here at Oaknall. So Tony, thank you for your 15 years here at Oaknall. Thanks for having a big heart, a soft voice, and always showing thoughtful compassion to the residents of Oaknall. Today we celebrate you.
First, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. As Retha mentioned, I have been here much longer than 15 years, throughout junior high and high school. My dad and I delivered the Press Citizen through the hallways here. I think the day I got my driver's license and was able to do that by myself was probably one of the best days of your life. Didn't have to get up at 5 o'clock and help me anymore. When I first started doing that, the main entrance was actually down where the Hope Dining Room is now. So I've seen this place just explode over the last 15 to 20 years. I can't imagine how many tens of thousands of hours I've spent in this building, and I wouldn't change a minute of it. When I started working here 15 years ago as a part-time receptionist, I thought I was just taking a side job to make some money while I went to school at Iowa. Didn't think there was any way I'd be here longer than a few years. Instead, Oaknall's seen me through taking classes at 4 different colleges and universities with 3 different majors in mind. Proud to say that I'm coming up about a year away from getting an accounting degree through Upper Iowa University, much of which has been paid for by Oaknall scholarships. During my time here, as Retha mentioned, I've also had another nearly full-time job covering high school basketball around the state. And despite being busy, I've been able to turn our transportation department into something that's unrivaled at any other retirement community in the area. That's something that I'm very proud of. I've lived in 6 different apartments, townhouses, and now a beautiful house in North Liberty that Alex and I bought a few years ago. So I've gone through a lot of change, but Oaknall's been the one constant in my life for the last 15 to 20 years. During my time here, I've turned from a shy teenager to a slightly less shy adult. I met my wife here. I've watched coworkers' children grow up here, and I hope someday to see our kids grow up here. Thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your lives and making it easy for me to want to come into work every day. Not everyone can say that, and I appreciate that more and more every day. Thank you.
My son Niall loves Tony. when he was 4, maybe, till 5. Tony helped coach one of his little baseball, pee-wee baseball leagues. It was awesome. But at that point in time, you all know that I say I have 4 boys, but I just have 1, and I've got my 3 nephews. The 2 older boys were walking through the garden walk. We came to Oakville for Easter or something, and the bigger boy said, "Who owns Oak Knoll anyway?" And one of the other boys says, "Nene." Is Nene here? Nancy Emmons. That's what they call her. Nene does. And Niall said, "No, she doesn't. Tony does."